So the whole idea of academic citizenship, I think, is very closely tied to the idea of an academic project. Of course, there's a lot of debate about what the academic project is in the country or what it is at Rhodes University, and I don't think we should ever all agree on a tightly defined academic project. But I think it does show that we are committed to something a little bit bigger than ourselves. And I think that makes academic work a little bit different to perhaps other jobs. And it's both a burden, if you like, and it's a privilege. It's a burden because I think if you genuinely commit to the academic project, then it's going to be really hard to just sort of lock the door and go home at the end of the day, because your intellectual life is with you all the time. And so you are, in some senses, always at work. You are always thinking through the implications of knowledge creation, knowledge dissemination. That's the burden. I think the privilege is that it means that we are doing a job that you really can have a sense that you're part of something bigger than yourselves, that you are nurturing these young people who are going to go out there and make a difference in the world, who are contributing to knowledge, who are challenging the ways in which we've made knowledge. And I mean, that is an enormous privilege. Having that sense of being part of something bigger than ourselves really makes our work meaningful. And I think that we need to find spaces in our departments to talk about this. This is not just about kind of how to behave, or I don't know quite how to put it. It's not just about the rules of the university, the policies you need to read, the deadlines by which you need to submit your marks. This is about how do we interact with each other as people? How do we nurture in our students a responsibility to the public good, something that is so important in this university. It is specified in our institutional development plan that we want to make sure that our graduates leave here with a sense of responsibility to people and the planet, that wherever they go and whatever jobs they do, that they always have some kind of commitment to issues beyond themselves, to this idea that we can go out there and be a public bad, where we actually are bad for the public, or we can go out there and be a public good, where whatever we do with our lives is good for the planet and the people. And I think this is really important to consider, given that our university is subsidized by taxpayers, some of whom will never step foot on any university campus. So they are subsidizing our salaries and our students' studies. Why? Because there is this sense of commitment to having universities and having these critical citizens, to quote the white paper of 1997, these graduates who are going to be critical citizens of the world, who are going to go out there and contribute to the public good. And I think that in our day-to-day busyness of getting through the syllabus and ordering books and marking assessments, it's quite hard to make space for those kinds of reflections and conversations and thinking through what does it mean for our department to nurture graduates who are committed to the public good? What does it mean to us as academics to contribute to the public good? What is the academic project of this university and our departments? And what does that mean in terms of how we relate to each other and how we relate to our students? And I think those conversations are absolutely crucial to developing the kind of collegiality that is necessary for a strong department to have. And I think that they very rarely happen, because most of our departmental meetings are understandably very focused on the business of the day. And I think we need to really look for spaces to have these more ephemeral conversations around who are we, what do we stand for, what do we want to be, who do we want our students to be. And I think there's a kind of a resistance to having these kinds of conversations. I think some people find them a little bit touchy-feely, and I think some people find them a little bit irrelevant. But I firmly believe that HODs who find spaces to have these conversations often quite challenging conversations, I think they will reap the rewards of having people who are committed to their work, far beyond just meeting the bare minimums required of them, but they're actually committed to being part of a project that's bigger than them. I think what's really important is that an HOD understands that to some extent at least, they set the tone for the department. And if students can feel that they are valued, that they are actually novice members of this knowledge community that is so valued by the department, then I think it's going to allow the student to, yes, bring their problems to the department, but we want that to happen because then we can help to resolve those problems. And it also means that those students can have a sense of confidence in themselves. And they're far more likely to work successfully if they have a sense that they are part of something bigger than themselves. That yes, they may only be novice members of a disciplinary field, but they are becoming members of the field, and that therefore their contributions are meaningful and valued. And by setting that tone as a head of department, we can actually have a huge impact on how students engage with us as a department.